You're listening to the Junto Podcast, a podcast about leadership, faith, community, and pretty much anything else that you want to talk about. Visit us at www.juntopodcast.com. That's JUNTO podcast.com. Thanks for stopping by and enjoy the show. 7 Keys to Relationship Success. We're going to talk about it today, discussing a book to get some inspiration, some conversation going. This book is from Barbara J. Peters. Barbara's been recognized as a top relationship coach by Coach Foundations and one of the biggest names in coaching, in the coaching industry. Excited about that, episode 90 of the Junto Podcast. Let's talk about some tips for relationship success.
That's right. Yeah, we're going to be looking at the text or book. He said, she said, I said. So this actually includes real life folks in relationships and the things that they say, the things that they're working on and having trouble with, and their experiences with that.
Tell us about the he said, she said. We get that, but what is the I said? What is that component
to the book? The I said is actually Barbara's, what she said as a counselor, as a relationship coach, to the concerns and issues that these couples are facing, and how she kind of coached them and helped them to find their marriage relationship success.
Very good. We all want that. We all want success in our relationship. So without further ado, we're digging in to tips for relationship success. Heather, take it away.
And of course, all this can also relate to people who are in relationship in different types of ways. We have boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, familial relationships, friendship relationships, church, family, coworker, all the things. Relationships and people are hard and difficult.
As we know, for
sure. So I'm just going to read a little bit of this forward, just to give us some perspective here.
Absolutely.
Relationships are complicated. People aren't perfect, and we can often get caught up in the narrow pathways of our own perceptions. When situations occur where opinions or points of view differ, a couple's connection can either be strengthened or weakened depending on how their differences are handled.
Wow.
And so the issues that we're going to talk about today have to do with that. Before we move on, though, I did want to give this quote or this kind of reminder, and the author is unknown.
Oh,
so
interesting.
Don't ask me to tell you who said or wrote it.
We don't have to worry about copyright. The author's unknown.
Right,
it doesn't
we don't
matter.
have to say, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
It says, remember, watch your thoughts for they become words. Watch your words for they become actions. Watch your actions for they become habits. Watch your habits for they become character. Watch your character for it becomes your destiny.
Yeah, great quote. I hadn't read that, but it's very similar to the premise in the Bible, about your thoughts and your thoughts become, So I would say that the author is a Bible author. I'm going with that. And that was stolen from the Bible.
God ordained, that's for sure, I would say.
Amen.
So God inspired. All right.
Very good. Well, give us some info here.
Okay, so first one we're going to talk about, and so I would say these are 7 or key issues for relationships.
Got it.
And the way that you handle them or deal with them depends on whether you're going to be successful or you're not going to be successful.
Right.
So,
and obviously we can't read the whole books, but this is hopefully a topic of discussion for you and yours, maybe some insight into that. So excited to, and by the way, I'm going into this blind, which is what I like.
It's a blind bag.
The reactions are pure. They're
blind
raw.
Bag. Me too. I haven't read the entire book. I've skimmed over and I've read the topics and they relate, and I'm ready to get some keys to success here.
And we do that intentionally for the viewers and listeners of the podcast. We want you to get the real thing.
The real deal.
All right.
So first off, communication. That's Avi. Barbara says, it's not only the content of the message that matters, it is the delivery that makes the difference, which is so true.
I think Barbara's right.
Barbara is right. So let's start off with a he said.
Okay.
This is what an actual either boyfriend, husband said concerning communication.
Okay.
He said, I feel we have poor communication and our relationship is one-sided, focusing mostly on her needs. This is what Barbara said. This is the I said.
Okay.
She said, communication. We all want it, we need it, and we do it. But how we communicate and how effective it is for both partners varies. A large percentage of couples seeking counseling have issues around communication, and while it may not be the real problem, it certainly is responsible for many areas of relationship conflict. So this here is stating the issue. Here's the problem. Here's the situation.
Got it.
Right? Any comments on that
Well,
so
what
far?
did she say? We heard what he said.
Well,
and I can relate.
Right. She said, I have plenty of needs, but I'm not sure how to ask for them or if he even cares what they may be.
Okay. So let me, with that information that I have, he says that, we communicate, but it
Poor
seems
communication, relationships one-sided.
But yeah, right. He says, from what I'm gathering, that, everything we talk about really revolves around her and what she needs. And I'm feeling a little bit neglected. I'm feeling left out. So I don't even talk about stuff because it's all going to go back to her at some point anyway.
Yeah.
And she's basically saying, look, I have things, but I don't even know how to ask or talk about them because does he really even care? And so my assessment of that is that she's getting the impression that he doesn't care because he's already burnt out, feeling like everything they talk about revolves around her anyway. Right.
Yes.
What?
You can relate?
Oh, well,
Or you're doing a sum up.
Listen. I'm just assessing here. I'm putting my Bible counselor hat on, and I'm just assessing. That's all I'm doing. Taking it in.
The situation.
That's right.
Okay, so as far as the actual, so then what do we do?
Right, there we go.
What's the question? Okay, if your partner is doing all the talking, you very well may feel your communication is one-sided, but step back a moment and see if you are contributing to the communication by offering your comments, thoughts, and experiences, and if you're truly listening to what your partner is saying.
Wow.
One of those things where, like, the other one talks so much that the partner's tuning that one out and not really hearing what they're saying. And maybe they're thinking, okay, this is the same old song and dance. I've heard this before. Like, brain, emotions, peace out.
I like that. Yeah. It sucks to get to that point and to that place. Yeah. I feel like it's very easy to do, though. Especially in long-term relationships. And there's always... I hate to admit, they say don't trust the words, trust the patterns. So again, there's always patterns of behavior too that might appear in this. So it's very hard. It's very hard in terms of getting out of this rut. Right. It's definitely
once you're in it.
Yeah. Exactly. So
how do you fix it?
Well, does Barbara here offer us any solutions?
She does. She has solutions.
Well, Barbara, goodness.
Tell us, Barbara. She says, try participating. Okay. This is to the one who thinks that the other one, it's all about their needs and they're the one just spewing. She says, a good technique to use for encouraging open communication is to openly request information about what is being asked or told to you by your spouse or partner. You might say, this is what I heard. Is it correct? So as to let that one know you were actually listening.
Right.
Which is a huge, okay. He just heard, or she just heard everything I said. So they're listening, right? This allows for additional clarification from your significant other. You can then offer, can you tell me more so I'm sure I understand?
I like that. Those are good questions. Can you tell me more?
Even if you don't understand that moment, just that act, that what do you call it when you're offering
you're
peace?
Engaged
what is it when you offer peace? You're offering I'll try to understand.
Yeah, it's empathy. It's trying to be empathetic. That's probably not the word. Repeat that again though, because that jogged a thought in my mind. Okay. What did she say?
This allows for additional clarification from your significant other. You can then offer, can you tell me more so I'm sure I understand?
Right.
Instead of saying, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
Like, I have no idea. Like, you're so all over the place. Saying that is not.
Well, exactly. And then what I was going to say too is that a lot of times we have already planned, or we think we know what they're talking about. So instead of really listening, we already have a preconceived notion of what the problem is or what they're talking about. And so that really defeats the whole purpose because you're really not listening to the other person. Like you really think you've already made your decision about what's going on
You're right.
instead of really finding out and listening. And so there is a big communication breakdown with that because that's a hard mountain to climb if you already have a preconceived notion.
Right.
And really not trying to listen and be empathetic and really, really listen.
Exactly.
Active listening.
Exactly. Also, another layer of this is she asked when the woman said, I have plenty of needs. I'm just not sure how to ask. I don't even know if he cares. She said, do you have the common misconception that if he or she really loved you, that your partner would just know what you need without it even being told?
Wow.
So that right there is a misconception that they should just, if they love me, like they would just know what I need and then they would just take care of it. No, that's why communication is so important.
Gotta communicate.
Even if you think they know, still communicate it.
Right.
Because 99% of the time they don't.
They don't, yeah.
They're not gonna. That's why there's an issue.
Sometimes things are just deeper than, there's just a deeper thing. And it even could be what's going on. There could be a deeper issue, a root problem that, and what's going on or what they're communicating about is just a symptom of something that's larger.
Right.
So without really communicating, it's going to be very hard to get to those root issues. So I would say that, he said, she said, and I said, that was pretty impactful on that one. So.
Right.
All right.
And lastly, let me, and then we'll wrap up the communication. When you're trying to communicate about an issue in your relationship, it is first, step one necessary, that both of you understand the issue's needing attention.
Wow.
So you can't, if you don't know what's going on and there's an issue in a specific, like how can you fix it?
Well, and then if you don't ask, you're going to become closed off to your partner because you're like, I don't know how to ask, and like she mentioned, like they should automatically know what I need because I'm sitting here pouting around. No, you're going to become closed off. So I say this all the time because most of what I do for occupation deals with communication of some sort. And so I always say communication is key and every word matters. Every single word matters. Like be clear, be precise about expressing your feelings, what you need, and so on and so forth. So
that's right.
That's my closing thing for communication.
He's the communication.
My closing rant.
He's a communication guy.
My closing rant.
Yes. Okay. I'm just kind of skipping through here. There's a lot of other he said, she said, but we're just touching on.
We're just touching on these. Feel free to buy the book. I'm sure.
Right.
It's on Amazon.com.
It was. I got mine used actually. So
used.
It's cheaper. Okay. The next one is trust. And speaking of used, there's a receipt.
I wish that was a $1 bill or like a $100 bill. Like there's a receipt instead of money.
A receipt. All right. So for trust, Barbara says, being able to trust and being trustworthy are markers of a strong relationship. Okay.
I agree with Barbara.
She said, he doesn't follow through and do the things he promises he will do.
Oh, Lord.
If I can't trust him with small things like taking out the garbage, how can I trust him with big issues? And then I said, as far as Barbara, trust is a small word, but a big request. There are simple things that we need to trust our spouses or partners to do. We need to trust them to take the dog out, feed the cat, put the kids to bed, get the car washed, all these little simple daily whatever.
All the daily things.
These are everyday concerns that we count on them to get done, right?
Sure.
On a larger scale, we need to trust our spouses to cherish and uphold the vows or promises taken on our wedding day. Whether the issue is small or large, we need to know that we can count on our partner's word and actions without hesitation or worry.
Interesting.
I think that's a big one right there.
Yeah.
So
trusting your partner, knowing they'll come through. The little things. I understand that it's hard. Like there's 6 of us in our household, ranging from us parents. We've got young adults, teenagers, and then we've got littles. So, having said that, it's hard to get all the things done. And I know moms like are typically better at the household things. So I could see how that could become an issue if the guy's not pulling a little bit of the weight. And so the mom has the obligations of the family and the children on top of some of the other things. And so I get that. I understand. It's just hard to manage all of the things. I think guys have other pressures, maybe as being the main breadwinner. Not that that's the case in all households, but I'm just saying there's a lot of factors at play here, not to mention that, what is it? Guys are from Mars, women are from Venus. Mm-hmm. Not to mention just the standard personality types that come along with male and female.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
That's true. It is. It's a lot to manage. A lot of reward as well, but it is a lot to manage and a lot of work. She says, while building and maintaining trust may sound like an easy task, in reality, lack of trust causes a significant amount of marital conflict.
I believe
it's one
that.
of the hardest obstacles to overcome when it threatens a relationship. Once trust is lost, rebuilding is a lengthy process without guarantees for success.
Wow.
For this reason, being able to trust and being trustworthy are two essential traits a strong relationship requires of a couple.
Wow. So do you know if it addresses, I mean, because we're talking about trust just on a basis of upholding your part, I guess, but does she go into anything like being unloyal or unfaithful? Because I'm just saying she's exactly right in the aspect of, man, once that trust is lost, rebuilding, that is a very lengthy, tedious process that no one wants to go through.
It's not super quick. You can't just say, okay, well, I trust you now that because you're saying that I can trust you.
Right, right.
Or if it's something that has to be forgiven or asked for forgiveness.
Right,
that's definitely... it's those big issues that take place. So yeah, that's hard. Here's another he said as far as trust. I don't know why she makes such a big deal out of whether or not I remember to do the small errands she asked me to do on my way home from work. I can go back out and do them, but she makes me feel like I forgot something major.
Wow.
And this is what Barbara said. While it is one of the most important components in any relationship, trust can mean different things to different people.
Boom, there you go.
Which is where things sometimes get confusing.
This is what I was getting into. Yeah.
Right. And that's where that communication has to come in well. With you have, these expectations, some unrealistic, some unrealized.
Many unrealistic, many unrealized.
Yes. In simple terms, trust may mean you say you will be home by 5 p.m. You will actually be home by 5 p.m.
Oh, my gosh.
I shouldn't have read that.
Oh, my gosh.
Why am I reading this?
Oh, dude, something in my spirit just, I listen, I can relate to that. This has been a major thing.
Major.
Okay, when I say major, I mean in terms of...
Explain.
Pattern, like you saying you're going to be home at a certain time.
I'm not good with time. I'm sorry.
But what does Barb say? Because that is definitely no excuse. It doesn't have to do with trust, Barb. That is definitely no excuse.
She says.
Oh, it definitely has to do with trust. Because I can't trust your word if you're not.
With that,
it gets to a point where it's like, nah, she'll, and it's not even the fact about being home at a certain time. It's just do what you say you're going to do. That's it. Oh, Lord.
Squirrels.
Barb done started a fight.
Squirrels run across my face all the time.
I hear nothing but excuses.
All right.
What does Barb say about this? I want to know.
Let's see.
Come on, Barbara.
I'm looking.
No. Don't skip over stuff that you know. Come on now. You're going to skip over.
So she says. I'm not skipping over.
Yes, you
it's just
are.
more
yes,
examples. Okay. When you say you'll do errands on the way home from work, you actually do them. It may mean when you call your partner and ask them to take one out the casserole for the nice dinner, he or she actually does it. It may mean counting on your partner to meet you for an appointment at the time agreed upon.
Yeah.
And on a deeper level, trust means you and your spouse or partner are there for each other and have no secrets.
I'm glad she mentioned it, though, because it is a thing. It is a thing. There is a component of trust. And I know that I've done things as well. But I'm just glad Barb mentions this because
Barb.
It is a stinking thing. Barb, thank you.
That's enough, Barb.
Barb, you have validated
things to do,
my
Barb.
feeling, Barb. Thank you.
And sometimes I don't always know if they're going to take 10 minutes or 30 minutes
now,
or
according
45
to Barb,
minutes.
you just got to do what you say you're going to do. No excuses. Come on. What else does she say?
Why is trust on all levels so monumental in a relationship? Because it is the hallmark of being present and in touch with yourself and how the things you say and do impact your relationship.
Yes.
So it is important. Trust means creating a sense of comfort and peace, assuring you will not hurt each other intentionally.
Wow. Yeah.
And making sure that you care about the things that are important to your partner, even if they may seem menial.
Menial. That's right.
Say it.
Menial.
Menial to you.
Yeah. Menial meaning small,
Yes.
not important.
I knew the meaning. I didn't know how to pronounce it.
She's a teacher. My apologies.
It is also that special quality of vulnerability that allows
Yes.
people to become close to each other. Right?
Right.
When an environment of trust exists in a relationship, it also allows for unintentional mistakes in a non-judgmental environment. Unintentional mistakes.
Over how long we've been married?
In
20
a
plus years.
non-judgmental environment.
You mean to tell me that all those were mistakes? No, I'm just kidding. Yes, it is. And absolutely. There's a two-way street there. Like, for sure, forgiveness and...
You hit the nail. That's what she said, along with apologies and forgiveness.
Yeah, absolutely. You got anything to say?
Right now in this moment, no. That we're moving on.
No, but it's true, though. Just to wrap up and sum it up in my words, I think what Barbara here, and Barbara, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think what he's trying to say is even in the small things, trust matters. Like, it matters. It matters if you just be a person of your word. Now, that goes without saying that, come on, if you're doing other major things that are violating the contract of marriage, infidelity, things like that, that's obviously goes without saying. But I think we get so caught up in the big things that we miss that those little things, their trust issues, they matter. They really matter because you get to a point where you can't trust your spouse with the small things or your significant other or whatever. And everyone's guilty of it. Everyone does it.
So many little
That's right.
menial things.
But I think Barbara is right. We need to be aware of those.
I was going to say awareness.
Yeah,
of
that's
that.
it. That's
right.
it.
That's good.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. We'll probably get through one more.
I know, right?
I know. These are good.
So this is part one.
Oh, this is part one.
Yeah. No?
Yeah, sure.
Or we're just going to skip the others. We don't need true
we can release.
in your
We'll
relationship.
release the next one next week.
Right.
All right.
So the next one, forgiveness.
Forgiveness.
It's a good one. So Barbara says, look to forgive both the large and small hurts caused by another. Because they come in little ones and the big ones. If you're in any type of relationship long enough, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
You're going to be hurt and you're going to hurt someone.
Yeah.
It's just the way it is.
I know.
Because we're all broken, and you take two broken folks and put them together, they're gonna break some other stuff together. So
well, and here's the thing about forgiveness. Gosh, okay, forgiveness. It does. I think you can forgive instantly, but there's still work that has to take place after the forgiveness. So I would say I would go back to number one, is that part of forgiving involves communication. Like there are things you just have to talk about. You have to talk about them. And I think part of true forgiveness is having those conversations, even if they're hard. They probably will be hard. But really to get to the point to where you really can get past things is going to take that. So
it is. And all these things are relative, like in the trust.
Yes.
Of moving forward, that, the other person's going to try not to hurt again, or you're going to try not to hurt again, and then having to gain that trust back, right? So she said, how can I forgive him when I can't yet forget what he's done?
What did I just say?
I know.
Me and Barb are tracking right along.
You and Barb.
Me and Barb.
So this is what Barb said. Recently, Lifetime Movie Network ran a true life drama titled Amish Grace. It is an exceptionally powerful film with a strong message of forgiveness. So it talks about that the story it took place in Pennsylvania, Amish, 2006. 6 Amish children were murdered by this guy. So this is a true story.
My gosh.
A number of children were released from the school, but the others were held hostage. The Amish community,
I think I remember this.
I think I do too.
100%.
They grieved
Yeah.
deeply. But shortly after the massacre, one of the murdered children's grandfather said, "We must not think evil of this man."
Wow.
Talk about forgiveness.
Wow.
The gentle community went to comfort the killer's family to ease the grief and shame and despair they were surely feeling at their loss. Such a strong message of forgiveness, the actions of these people that spoke that day. And one of the lines from the movie, forgiving doesn't mean forgetting, and it doesn't mean pondering, but if we hold onto our anger and resentment, it is only ourselves who are being punished. When we open our hearts to forgiveness, darkness vanishes and evil is no more.
Yes.
It cuts it off. It stops it right there.
Yeah. What a powerful
Very.
story of forgiveness.
Very.
Man. You know, you talk about forgiveness, and here we are talking about small things. Not saying they don't matter, but this is a very big thing, a loss of life at the hands of someone. You know, it's just the unthinkable. So forgiveness is a very powerful thing. It's a powerful tool. And so is there any he said, she said component to that one? Or
There are.
is that a sum of
That was one. That was the she said, I said that I couldn't forgive him.
Okay.
And I can't forget it.
Got. And did she use that story to tell them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome. I like this because it's real encounters that she's had with people.
So forgiveness, like all other behaviors in life, is a choice.
Ooh, goodness.
You know, I have heard people say, I just can't forgive
I know.
this person. I just can't.
Yeah.
It's just too, like, I wouldn't be able to. I've even myself, when I hear things on the news about, especially children, stuff happening to them, and I'm
see,
like,
situational.
You know?
I don't know. I question myself too in something. Like, could I really forgive? Like, oh man,
aren't we?
Lord help us.
Aren't we called to that?
We are.
Right. So
Barbara's
he said,
reminding us.
No, come on, Barbara. He said, I feel angry with her all the time for things she's done in the past and even for little things she does
my gosh.
now,
Yeah.
which shouldn't be any big deal, but they are because I can't seem to let go of the pain. So he's mad at her for things in the past, probably
Right.
big things.
Yeah.
So now the little things that are happening are just like picking, like adding to and making it like all that more like forgiveness ain't happening.
Yeah.
I can see that. So
Especially if the wound is deep, if it really is.
Trust was broken. It's like a huge deal.
Yeah, it's bad. Gosh.
So Barbara said,
Okay.
or you're calling her Barb. You got her nickname.
She's on point.
Barb said.
I like Barbara. She's bringing some good nuggets.
Yes.
Come on, Barbara.
From the forgiver's standpoint, offering forgiveness enables releasing the feelings keeping him or her stuck in a deepening pit of anger, resentment, and hurt. But it doesn't excuse behavior, and it doesn't mean quickly and easily trusting the person who caused the hurt and pain.
Does she give us tips on how to move forward? I love it because she says it's not quickly, but so let's move on and see some other steps.
Yes, it does mean setting healthy boundaries with the person who did the wounding, as well as working through the emotions triggered by his or her hurtful behavior. It doesn't mean automatically forgetting what was done.
There
what
you
it
go.
does do is allow the person forgiving to reach out and begin a process of reconciliation.
Wow.
Like I said, it's a process.
Gosh.
So,
And it is a process. Oh man, relationships are hard and they're very complex, especially over a length of time. And let me say this, no one is immune to hurting someone, right? Like no one is exempt of the possibility of hurting someone. Now there's degrees, I think, that you could cross the line and hurt your significant other. But even if it's things as simple as repeatedly, not being home when you said you were, even that can create trust issues and can create problems. So I'm just glad to know that I'm not alone and that Barbara shedding some nuggets. But seriously, it's I think being people of our words and remembering the covenant that we're under.
in all things. Being true to your word in all things. Even when the other significant other doesn't know, doesn't have a way, the things you do in the dark,
they come
those
to the
things
light.
as well. Those
Yeah.
things as well,
Amen.
right?
That's true. That's what I'm saying. It's a two-way street here. It's a two-way street, and it's not just that you know, the expectations that you have of your spouse, you have to have of yourself as well. So those
Right.
things need to be a standard, and truthfulness, and, you know, even the brokenness that we bring into the marriage, we gotta bring it into the light too, because that is a covenant relationship, and we have to remember that. So, man, Barbara was bringing some power. Barbara was bringing some real good stuff. Any final thoughts? I don't think we have time to go into another
Right.
full one, but do you want to expound on any of the other ones?
Yeah, let me
what
just
stood out most?
finish up here with forgiveness. What you think and what you feel are your choices. Let me read that again.
Ah, wow.
What you think and what you feel are your
I like that.
choices. If you are holding on to old hurts and resentments, you are choosing not to move forward.
Wow.
And will learn nothing from the negative experiences.
Yeah.
You will not be able to move on to better times.
Wow, you'll not be able
Notice
to.
she said your choices.
Read that one more time.
What you think and what you feel are your choices.
Wow.
So, as far as forgiveness, you're wanting to stay in that realm of hurt and pain, even if you think the other person does not deserve your forgiveness, even if they do not ask for your forgiveness.
Right.
It's still for you to relinquish that and let it go and move on. That doesn't mean that the trust is going to be there. That's not that. It like you said,
But
it's
you'll
a
work
process.
towards it. Yeah.
You can work towards it, or sometimes the other person it's never regained that trust.
Yeah.
So even in those moments, you still have to make the choice to forgive for your own self.
That's it. Man, great
Right.
nuggets, great nuggets from Barbara. Thank you, Heather, for finding that for us to discuss on the podcast. We hope you were encouraged. So there's, I think, 7 total of these.
that
We
was
got
just
through
3.
3 today. So it looks like we're going to be doing a part 2 of this. Thank you guys so much. We hope you were encouraged by this. As always, Jesus is the way, the truth, the life. And we thank you for joining us on the Junto podcast. That's right, the Together podcast. We'll see you next time. Thank you for listening to the Junto podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show. You can find our link to YouTube and social media at juntopodcast.com. Remember to subscribe, like, and follow. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.